Yo, what's good, everybody? JayPing here checking in. RespectMyRegion.com back with the 84th episode of the Morning Joint Podcast. I'm your host, Joey JayPing. And today we've got a very spectacular, wonderful, amazing, impactful, valuable curation of articles and stories to update you guys about. Today's episode is brought to you guys by RMR Legacy Smalls, premium indoor cannabis available in Washington, California. And we're working on Arizona and New York here for the next few months. So stay tuned for the announcements surrounding those drops. Now, without further ado, we're going to dive right in to today's stories. First and foremost, we attended MJBizCon last week, the world's largest cannabis trade show, the world's most hated cannabis trade show, but also too the most beloved. The largest trade show brings together thousands and thousands and thousands of people to the city of Las Vegas for meetings, trade show displays, exhibits, panels, presentations, and my personal favorite, the mixers and the parties. So, without further ado, I'll dive right into what I saw at MJBizCon. Um, First things first, it seemed a little light in terms of overall attendance. Although there's more states legal, medical, decriminalized, and recreational, it seemed that the overall quantity of people was down. At no moment was it so packed walking through the aisles that you couldn't hear or breathe or just whatever. It was never that packed at any given moment. Um, Additionally, registration. They moved the registration around, the lines. They made it available for you to get your badge the day before, so you could just walk right into the show the day of. Um, it just wasn't set up the way that it has been in the past. And overall, it seemingly had better flow. Um, in terms of inside, so you guys know the North Hall, the South Hall. You guys understand how the MJBizCon sets it up. Historically, it would be where that taxi drop-off area is, or you go right or you go left, and you can hit a loop and go out, or you can go around down to the farther end of the hall, to the South Hall, the right side, past all the parking lots. We've had it be on that side. We've had it be on this side. 8 years into MJBizCon, just leave it at the main entrance to the hall where it usually is, where the food trucks are, where the outside area is. There was a little smoking area, food eating area. Like, just leave it over there. You walked inside. You had the general convention hall, we'll call it like cafeteria area with the Starbucks and the food and the bathrooms and the escalators up. This time, MJBizCon actually had a merch booth, which was super dope. When I say booth, I mean truck. They literally wheeled a truck in there, like a bus, merch bus. That was pretty dope. Um, then, yeah, the staff was all really nice. Checked your badge in, scanned you in, let you go. The main hall was filled with your traditional ancillary brands, whereas the other hall, where Hall of Flowers used to be, was that's where most of like the cultivation equipment was. So your lights, your hardware, you had extraction in one area and you had cultivation in another. So that was really, I felt like, because they didn't have all of that jam packed in one room, it's why it felt like it wasn't filled all the way, but just with people, and I really enjoyed that. All right, one of the key things at MJBizCon was 40 tons and their letter writing activation for the 10,000 cannabis prisoners that are still in jail. Big shout out to 40 tons for crafting this idea together and bringing the community together. Groups like Vert, groups like Custom Cones, Elite Cannabis Operators, and I believe there's one other group that I cannot remember. DaySavers and another one that came together to empower this activation to help get people out of jail, to help get people out of prison for nonviolent cannabis offenses. Really powerful activation. You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think about spending your life in jail, especially for weed, considering we could just sit here smoking on camera and stuff now and selling it and all that stuff. So, do what you can to get up and vote, legalize, and get these people out of jail, man. All right. We also attended and were partnered with the Activated event at the Lexi Hotel Takeover. I can tell you right now, having a suite there, over 1,000 people throughout the night, countless Instagram followers gained, countless relationships gained and grown. Shout out to the Hall of Flowers team for coming up and kicking it in our suite. Shout out to everybody that came up and supported. I really, really appreciate you guys. As we grow and as we get bigger and have any kind of money whatsoever, we hope to do more and to continue to give back. But for now, just want to give a lot of love and respect to our partners, MJ Pack, for bringing a bunch of different, shroom products for us to sample out the evening, party favors, if you would, and really just making it one hell of a night. That was our first night partying in Vegas together and our first time really coming together after working together for a year and some change. So big shout out to Activated for giving us an opportunity to hang out, party, build community, and gain new relationships. That was huge. Now, Blunt Brunch 2023 Nationals happened. Big shout out to Adelia and Parisa for including Respect My Region on that. What an exciting and powerful event. For women, by women. We here, although Respect My Region is 3 people, male owned, we definitely view Mitch's wife as being one of our owners and playing a role into our decision making. And so we're, shout out to Tasha. Shout out to all the women on our team. Shout out to Blunt Brunch for putting it on for women. Shout out to Shelby, our podcast host, and a good friend of mine for joining us on this mission of amplifying local culture and, giving a voice to the people that we feel deserve a voice in the space. Don't forget, y'all, the greatest human act is to inspire others to achieve greatness. So we here just trying to inspire others to achieve greatness together. All right, now we're going to keep moving forward. Blunt Brunch was lit. Every woman in the cannabis industry, you got to get out to Blunt Brunch at least once in your career. We also attended an event called Liddy in the City, aka Liddy in Sin City. Definitely a trap event, definitely legal brands, illegal brands, session, smoking, selling. But you know what? It's a culture. There's always going to be people with brands, with fire, weed, selling hash holes and rosin and all that good stuff. So big shout out to the fam, Liddy in Sin City. I really enjoyed that evening. We left right as the oil wrestling was going on. Shit's hilarious. Little Vegas activity. There was like dance performances from professional dancers. I don't want to say that they were strippers. And then there was this oil wrestling, and it was just a little much for a couple Seattle boys, you know what I'm saying, for a weed party. But nonetheless, creative, hype, hella dudes, but people were happy and they were lit. So that's what matters. Now, as we proceed forward, I want to talk about 2 things. First and foremost, it's getting cold out there, you guys. It is. It's getting cold out there. We're seeing vape cartridges clog. We're seeing vape disposables clog. And I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about why that's happening and how to fix it, okay? Now, the first things first. A clogged vape cart does not mean it's broken. And I'll also go so far as to say that a leaky vape cart does not mean it's broken. What it means is that the viscosity, the thickness of the oil has shifted. Now, these problems are a direct reflection of human error. Yes, I said it. It's your motherfucking fault it's clogged. It's your motherfucking fault it's leaky. It ain't the hardware. It ain't the oil. It's just you and wherever you're at, and not placing it or taking care of storing it in the proper environment. Now, I, as the person educating you today, get to teach you on the proper ways to go about it, how to fix it. But it requires some context. So first and foremost, why does an oil that's usually viscous, how does it thicken up and clog the vapes? Well, I'm here to tell you that when it's cold outside or when it's below 65 degrees, you will notice the oil get a little thick as it approaches the 50s, as it approaches the 40s and the 30s. 32 degrees is where water becomes ice, where it's cold, where it's the freezing temperature, right? As it approaches the 50s and 40s, you will notice that oil gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And as it becomes solid, when it gets into the 30s, the low 30s, or even near low 30s, it will start to almost solidify. Think of a Jolly Rancher, right? That distillate gets oil formed just like a syrup, right? Just like that candy syrup, some maple syrup, some melted Jolly Rancher syrup. But then you freeze it or it gets cold and it starts to harden, right? It goes from sticky sap to sticky rock hard looking ice and diamond type of thing, right? Sticky rock hard candy. I want you guys to think about that. These vape carts, these disposable vapes, the oil, when it gets colder, it thickens until it hardens. Okay? So if it's clogged, what you need to do is you need to warm it up. Don't stick your cartridge in the microwave. Don't stick your disposable in the microwave. Don't stick it in the oven. What I would do is take a hair dryer and just blow it at it. Get a space heater, just set these there in front of it. It'll warm it up, but it won't melt it, and then it will eventually get less thick, the oil inside of the cartridge or the disposable vape. Now, leaky carts. On the flip side, if cold makes it get thick and harden and clog, heat makes it get thinner and more water-like, more fluid, more viscous is the word. So right now, the house has been 70 degrees overnight. We've got some live resin in here. And as I turn the oil around and move it, it's viscous and it's moving and it's shifting. It's shifting inside of this AVD battery, okay? Now, again, when it gets too warm, the oil gets thinner, meaning it can seep down through the porous holes of a ceramic element, right? It can seep around the connection of a cartridge, and that's where you'll get leaky vapes. So how do you avoid this? Well, the first thing is storage. Stop storing them in your goddamn vehicles. Your vehicles in the garage, outside, in the sun, in the parking lot, in a parking garage, at the beach, at the Cali beach is warm, Washington beach is cold. It doesn't matter. The temperatures in the cars vary up and down. And the point being, if it gets too hot, it will leak. If your vape is connected, twist, it's tight, rip. Go to the beach, have fun, go for a hike, go into the grocery store. You come back, your car's nice and warm. That oil was cooking in your car. Not only was it damaging the terpenes, but it was getting viscous, more thin. And that means that it is a very good chance that it is seeping through the cartridge as it's thinner now and into the connection area. You're going to turn that battery on, try to roast it. It's going to fry the connection. The cartridge isn't going to rip after that. Your battery might even, when you try to twist it out and pull it out, it might even pull out all the innards of the connection because it got sticky and hardened. So storage, stop leaving it in your vehicles. Do not stick it in your purse or another bag and leave it in your trunk. Have your carts on you. Have your disposable vapes on you. Not when you go to Disneyland or anywhere federal, but have them on you and always try to keep them nice and cool, not hot and not too cold. Okay, cold hardens, clog. Heat thins it out, leaks. Hot leaks, thin, cold. Cold clogs. Cold clogs, heat thins. Come on, I don't know how many times I got to see it. Say it. All right. Now, storage is one of the key things. Also, go ahead and detach the cartridge from the battery when you're done using it. Those rubber stoppers everybody throws away, the ones that are on the mouthpiece and the ones that are on the bottom of the battery or on the bottom of the cartridge, keeps it from leaking. Those are for a reason. Use them. It's really important. Now, one of the other key things that I really want you guys to focus on is remembering where you live. If you live in Alaska, Oregon, Washington, Montana, if you're on the East Coast in colder states during the winter, you can expect your carts to clog. You can expect your carts to clog. When it gets summer, when it's just getting spring and it gets above 70 degrees and your car starts cooking, you can expect those carts to leak if you leave them in your car. You can expect them to get thin and seep into the connection. And when you twist that cartridge off, for it to rip out. You make sure that you don't store things in your vehicle overnight. Always bring them in the house. Always store them standing up, straight up and down if you can, never on your side. And of course, never upside down. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. How to fix clogged vape carts. Hopefully you guys found that valuable. All right. Now, up next for cannabis, we want to talk a little bit about where is medical cannabis at in 2023. So Texas implemented the the compassionate use program in 2015, allowing patients with intractable epilepsy to access low THC cannabis oil. In recent years, there are efforts to expand the use program to include a broader range of medical conditions. So the current state is that it's decriminalized. There is a medical framework. The THC is very low for these products, but there's hope. There's definitely hope. So make sure you guys stay tuned. I would just Google Compassionate Use Program Texas, read up on that, and learn about it. Let's see. What do we got? Oh. All right. We got some more topics. Rick Ross and Meek Mill dropped an album. Alchemist played some unreleased Yasiin bass song at a recent event that we attended. We got some new music on last Friday's list. Brent Faiyaz dropped another album, Larger Than Life. We also went to ComplexCon 2023 in Long Beach. That was incredible. We just published an article on women-owned brands there. And then, man, we had to show love to Seattle, man. We had to do an article on the best Seattle basketball players of all time. Baby, let's go. So without further ado, let's check out this Hot Music Friday list, okay? Houdini, Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift, Is It Over Now? Water by Tyler, First Person Shooter, Drake and J. Cole. So that's not a new one, but that one's still hot. I Remember Everything. 3D, Jungkook and Jack Harlow. Too Much, The Kid Laroi, Jungkook and Central C. Strangers by Kenya Grace. We got some hitters in here. There's some good music for you guys to check out for sure. Stay tuned for this week's edition. And we also have a local Music Wednesday coming out as well. So you guys, a lot of good stuff going down. Before we get on out of here, make sure you guys check out that Rick Ross and Meek Mill album. Make sure you guys check out Alchemist new music. And that's of all Seattle basketball players. If we miss anything, be sure to keep it real and let us know. So you already know when it comes to the best Seattle basketball players of all time, you got to have Jamal Crawford. You got to have Nate Robinson. Who else we got? Brandon Roy, Jason Terry, DeJounte Murray, Martell Webster, Paolo, Terrence Williams, Tom Roden. There's some other notable: Doug Christie, Rodney Stuckey, Aaron Brooks, Marvin Beauchamp, Michael Porter Jr. Those ones are, all hoopers. All hoopers. So make sure you guys tap in and check them out. This was another episode of the Morning Joint Podcast. I'm your host, Joey JayPing. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about what we've been posting, what we got going on. We're heading to Miami this week to go cover Art Basel. We were invited by Coinbase to cover a launch for one of their products and one of their events. So you guys are going to see some exciting things. If you've never been to Art Basel, it is the world's largest, coolest, most exciting, innovative art, crypto, music, and technology and fashion event down in Miami. We'll be flying into Orlando on Wednesday and driving down to Miami the next day. So tap in, like, follow, subscribe. I'll see y'all next week. Love you guys. Peace.